I'm Shane McFarland. I'm mayor of Murfreesboro. I moved here in 1992. I'm originally from a real small town, Monteagle, Tennessee. I have a twin brother. We both moved here in 92 to come to MTSU to get my degree. I graduated with an accounting degree, so a bachelor in business administration, and started working in 1997 right out of school. Met my wife in 1998. Ashley is from Murfreesboro. She was born and raised here, and so we were married in '99. So we've been married 21 years. We have 3 boys. One thing that's pretty cool is I'm an identical twin, and then we have identical twins. Luke and Eli are 16 years old. And then, and the cool thing with Luke and Eli, they were born on different days. Eli was born on January 24th at 10 at night, and Luke was born at 1 in the morning on January 25th. So it's pretty cool that they have different birthdays. And then I have an 8-year-old, and Drew was born in 2012. And so my boys have really never seen anything different than me being involved in the city of Murfreesboro. During the pandemic, I decided to start flying. So I started flying lessons. I'm real close to having my private pilot's license. So I should have that done in the next 3 or 4 weeks. Have really enjoyed that. And then I love doing anything outdoors. Love to play golf, ride my bicycle, ride my bike with my brother quite a bit, and then run. So anything that's active, my family loves to do. I got involved on Planning Commission, and Planning Commission is no doubt the most thankless position that you are involved in, because you put so many hours in. You're dealing with very sensitive things, because as a council member, I think what we've all learned, that there's 2 things that people don't like you really messing with, and that's their property and their kids. And you're dealing with property, and you're dealing with new things on the Planning Commission, and so that's something that's sensitive. So I started on there, and I learned the planning process. I learned about new things coming in Murfreesboro, how you improve those things, and then had a couple people ask, hey, would you be interested in running for council? And I did, and so served 8 years on council. And it really, of all the things I've done, I've learned more going through this journey of being involved with the city. I've learned more about leadership. I've learned more about the financial aspect of how a city's run. Local politics is so different than national and even state level politics, because the decisions we make, we're accountable to the people every single day when we make those decisions. And that's something, I don't take for granted, that when we make a decision, people are, the people that we represent, we see them on the soccer fields, we see them, in the grocery store, we see them at the restaurant. So, it's not like that we live in Washington and we don't see the people every single day that we represent. And that's, not to get on my soapbox, I think that's how our founding fathers envision government working, and that's you're being really close to the people you represent and try to get a mindset and understanding of what your residents and your constituents want. After 8 years, I guess I was on my 7th year, because the time that I ran, that was also my cycle to be up for re-election for council. And my term, my council seat and the mayor seat were at the same election. So, I had this real uneasy feeling about running again, because I had served for 8 years, and that's quite a while. And so I was in church listening to a sermon, and this is before Mayor Bragg had ever said he wasn't running again. So I come out to the car, and I tell Ashley, because I had talked to her. Ashley's absolutely my best friend, and so I talked to her about not really running for council again. And I said, hey, honey, I think I'm not supposed to run for council again. I think I'm supposed to run for mayor. And she said, "That's great, don't tell anybody that." So, you know, I think after that, you know, it's something I had in my mind, and then Tommy decided he wasn't going to run, and things fell into place, and I was elected, you know, the youngest mayor that in the history of Murfreesboro. One of the funnest things that I get to do, I get to go talk to school kids. What I tell the students that I talk to, you know, leadership is about doing things that sometimes make you uncomfortable. And at the same time, you don't want to ever be that type of person that just complains and fusses about everything, but you never have a solution to the items that you think need to be improved. And I try to tell the people I work with, you know, I'm perfectly fine you coming to me with a problem, but it's so much better when you come and you say, hey, here's the problem and here's what I think we need to do. And that's really why, you know, my mom and dad, you know, always taught me that you need to be able to give back and you need to be able to be involved. And you know, that's one of the things I've tried hard to do. I mean, it's one of those things that you always hear about, you know, people who don't vote. I mean, if you don't vote, you shouldn't complain. So you know, you got to get out and vote for who's going to be the leaders in your community, in your state, in your country. And I mean, that's the way I've taken that very serious. I mean, there are people who are overseas right now fighting for our freedom, and I'm sitting in a chair here talking to you, and the reason I'm allowed to be able to sit here and talk to you are because of the sacrifices that other people have given. And you know, if I'm not taking my job serious as the mayor, or even a council member, or for that matter serving on the board, you know, I'm doing a disservice to the residents of Murfreesboro. So that's why I did it. That's misunderstood sometimes, because we do have a council city manager form of government. You know, we as council members, we don't hire and fire. People think that the mayor has a whole lot more power than what the mayor has. A lot of my power that I have is really using influence, because we don't make day-to-day operational decisions in the city of Murfreesboro. That's not our role, that's not our job. I like to equate it to, you know, we're a board of directors, and the city manager is the president of that business, and the president runs the day-to-day operations. We set the big picture, we set the direction that we want things to be done, and then it's up to city staff to execute that. So I think the biggest role of the council is, one, to be educated. You know, we get so much information, and if as a council member I'm not reading through all the information I get, if I'm not studying the issues, then I'm not doing the job I'm supposed to do. So I think that's number one, is to make sure that you stay educated on the issues. The second thing is to make sure that we listen a whole lot more than we talk. It's much better to be able to listen. You know, I don't know how to run a fire department. I don't know how to run a police department, but we have to make sure that the people who are advising us know what they're doing. And I think that's really one of the most important things as a council member, is you surround yourself, or really as a mayor, surround yourself with people who are smarter and better at you than in areas that you're not. So I think as a council, you know, our job is really to set the big picture of where we want to go, set the ideas that we have in place that we want to see improved, and then make sure that, you know, our team executes that vision. And we've been fortunate over the last 5 or 6 years. I mean, as a government doesn't like to change very much, and that's something that, you know, we really have pushed to say that, you know, if your answer to me on a specific issue is, well, that's the way we've always done it, that's not a good answer. I mean, if that's the best way to do it, I'm totally fine with that. So you know, I would rather someone say, here's why we do this, and this is the best way that it needs to be done. So we've really worked hard to, you know, initiate and implement things that make us sort of think outside the box. You know, would you rather, if you're having a surgery in an operating room, would you rather go to an operating room that was built 20 years ago, or would you rather go to an operating room that is totally up to date with all the technology and all the latest and greatest things? And I think the residents of Murfreesboro want those things. We don't want to do things like we did it, 20 and 50 years ago. And so that's one of the things as a council member I think we try to look at and try to improve. I could give you a canned answer and just say it's infrastructure, it's the things that the government's done. I don't think that's it. I think the government, we've been a part of that, but Murfreesboro is a pretty special place just from the standpoint of, we're a very diverse community. We've had our issues that we continue to work through. Growth is one of the toughest things that, it's one of the best things, but it's one of the toughest things. But it is a great place to live. It's a great place to raise a family. It's becoming a great place to retire. It's safe. We do have our number one issue that we deal with is traffic. But that's something that the mid-state overall continues to deal with. But you look at quality of life, and that's the buzzword that we say, quality of life. But really you look at education is great here. You've got a progressive university. You've got infrastructure that continues to improve, although we're not where we need to be. You've got a Parks and Rec system that has been recognized not only, I think it's 20 years in a row that we've had the best Parks and Rec department in the state, but nationally our Parks and Rec department is just second to none. Our water services, our utilities are phenomenal. So it's things that I can't take credit for. Those were done way before me, but you put all that together and you've got a great place to live. It's affordable. I mean, we had the unfortunate event a couple of years ago that we had to talk about revenue. But I mean, you compare us to other cities our size in the state, we're still in the bottom third on what our tax rate is. So there's all of those things that you combine together, and it makes it a really good city to live. I mean, to be honest, it's tough. The last 2 years, between going all the way back to 2018, we had the White Lives Rally. We've had some other protests. We've had tough decisions that the council has had to make. We've had everything that has gone along with the pandemic, because there is no right answer. There's no right decision. And any decision you make, and that's the difference, I think, between being a council member and being the mayor. The mayor never has the opportunity to ride the line or the fence on something. You have to make a decision, and when you make that decision, you're going to make people mad. And I don't wake up in the morning saying, okay, who can I make mad today? So that's the tough part. But I think at the end of the day, you're firm in your conviction that you know that you're supposed to be doing this, that you were put here for a reason. And that's what motivates me. And I could care less about a legacy. I could care less about having something named after me. That's not why I do this. The motivation, and really my main motivation is, I want to set the example for my kids to show this is what you're supposed to do. This is how you're supposed to be active in a community. And at the same time, be humble enough to say, I'm going to screw up. As mayor, there's things I look back that, I've made a mistake that I've tried to rectify to do things better. But at the end of the day, and this is more on a national level, or national, state, and local, politicians are humans. And at the core, we make mistakes. And I think we have to be able, as a politician, to be able to say, I made a mistake on that one. I wish I could have done that differently. And so you learn from that and hopefully don't make, that mistake again. And, I think the one thing that I've learned, and this is just more my personality, to be in this position, you have to be calm.